Welcome, fellow frog enthusiasts, to 1000 Fun Facts About Frogs. Over the next hour, we will explore everything there is to know about these magnificent creatures, from their incredible anatomy and intelligence to their history and record-breaking achievements. Frogs are amphibians, meaning they can live both in water and on land. There are over 7,500 known species of frogs worldwide. Frogs are found on every continent except Antarctica. The scientific study of amphibians and reptiles is called herpetology. Frogs begin life as aquatic larvae called tadpoles. Tadpoles breathe using gills, like fish. As tadpoles mature, they undergo metamorphosis into adult frogs. During metamorphosis, tadpoles develop lungs to breathe air. Frogs have moist, permeable skin that allows them to absorb water. Because of their skin, frogs don't need to drink water through their mouths. Frogs' skin also allows them to absorb oxygen directly from the environment. Frogs shed their skin regularly and often eat it afterward. Frogs are cold-blooded animals, ectothermic. Their body temperature changes depending on the temperature of their surroundings. Frogs use croaking sounds to communicate, especially during mating seasons. Only male frogs typically croak. Each frog species has a unique croaking sound. Frogs can hear through their tympanum, a circular membrane behind their eyes. Some frog species communicate with body movements instead of croaks. The world's smallest frog, Paedophrine amoensis, is only 7.7 millimeter long. The largest frog, Conroa goliath, the Goliath frog, can grow over 30 centimeters long. Frogs belong to the order Anura, meaning without tail. The word amphibian means double life in Greek. Frogs are carnivorous and mainly eat insects. Larger frogs may eat small rodents, birds, or other frogs. Frogs catch prey with long, sticky tongues. A frog's tongue can shoot out in less than a second. Some frogs have tongues longer than their entire body. Frogs swallow food by pushing it down with their eyeballs. When frogs eat, their eyes sink into their heads to help move food down their throats. Frogs have teeth on their upper jaws, called maxillary teeth. These teeth are used to hold prey, not chew it. Frogs usually swallow prey whole. Frogs' powerful legs are adapted for jumping and swimming. Some frogs can jump over 20 times their body length. Frogs have 4 digits on their front legs and 5 on their hind legs. Tree frogs have sticky pads on their toes for climbing. Frogs in dry habitats often burrow underground to stay moist. During dry periods, some frogs enter a state called estivation. In cold climates, frogs can hibernate during winter. Some frogs can survive being frozen solid and thaw out later. The wood frog, Rana sylvatica, can survive being frozen for weeks. Frog's skin contains glands that secrete mucus to keep it moist. Some species also secrete toxins to deter predators. Poison dart frogs are among the most toxic animals on Earth. The golden poison frog, Phyllobates terribilis, can kill several humans with its toxin. Not all brightly colored frogs are poisonous. Some mimic toxic species. This mimicry is called Batesian mimicry. Frogs use camouflage to blend into their environments. Their coloration can change slightly with temperature or humidity. Some frogs have transparent skin, like the glass frog. The glass frog's internal organs can be seen through its belly. Frogs play an important role in ecosystems as both predator and prey. They help control insect populations. Frogs serve as food for birds, snakes, fish, and mammals. Frogs are bioindicators of environmental health. Because they breathe through their skin, they are sensitive to pollution. A decline in frog populations can signal ecosystem problems. Many frog species are endangered due to habitat loss and pollution. Climate change also threatens frogs by altering breeding cycles. The chytrid fungus is a major cause of frog population declines. The fungus infects frogs' skin, disrupting their ability to breathe. Some frogs are developing resistance to chytrid fungus. Frogs lay eggs in water or moist environments. Frog eggs are surrounded by jelly-like coatings. These coatings protect the developing embryos. A group of frog eggs is called frog spawn. Some frogs guard their eggs or carry them on their bodies. The Darwin's frog carries tadpoles in its vocal sac. The Suriname toad carries eggs embedded in its back. Frogs have different reproductive strategies depending on their habitat. Some frogs breed in tree holes or on leaves above water. The male midwife toad carries fertilized eggs on his back. Frogs can be active during day or night, depending on the species. Frogs that are active at night are called nocturnal. Day-active frogs are diurnal. Frogs rely heavily on vision to hunt and detect movement. They have large, bulging eyes for wide vision. Frogs can see in color, even in low light. Their eyes are positioned to see nearly all around them. Frogs' pupils can be round, vertical, or horizontal. The shape of the pupil often indicates a frog's activity pattern. Frogs use their powerful legs to escape predators quickly. Some species can glide or parachute through the air. The flying frog uses webbed feet like parachutes. Frogs communicate visually with body postures and movements. Some frogs wave their legs or inflate their throats to signal others. Male frogs often establish territories during breeding season. They use croaks to attract mates and warn rivals. Female frogs choose mates based on croak pitch and strength. Some frogs use chemical signals called pheromones to attract mates. Frogs' hearts have 3 chambers, 2 atria and 1 ventricle. Frogs can regulate blood flow between their lungs and skin. Their circulatory system helps them live both in water and on land. Frogs have a well-developed nervous system and brain. Their brain controls sensory input, movement, and balance. Frogs' spinal cords help coordinate jumping and swimming. Frogs have good reflexes to react to predators. Some frogs can autotomize, shed parts of their skin to escape. Frogs are ancient creatures that have existed for over 200 million years. Frogs evolved around the late Triassic period, over 200 million years ago. Ancient frogs were larger and more primitive than modern species. Fossilized frogs show early adaptations for jumping. The earliest known frog fossil is Prosalirus bitis. Frogs are among the oldest surviving groups of land vertebrates. Unlike toads, frogs typically have smooth, moist skin. Toads usually have dry, warty skin and shorter legs. Both frogs and toads belong to the order Anura. The distinction between frog and toad is mostly informal. Some species called toads are actually more closely related to frogs. Frogs have highly specialized skeletal structures for jumping. Their hind leg bones are long and fused for strength. Frogs have no tail as adults. Their vertebrae are fewer but stronger than in many animals. Frogs have a single bone in their lower arm called the radioulna. Their strong pelvic girdle helps them leap great distances. Frogs' short spines prevent back injury from jumping impacts. Frogs can absorb oxygen through their skin underwater. Some species can stay submerged for long periods without surfacing. Frogs also breathe through lungs when on land. They can close their nostrils and eyes while underwater. Some aquatic frogs, like the African clawed frog, rarely leave the water. The African clawed frog is used in scientific research and was once used in pregnancy tests. The species Xenopus laevis produces hormones that react to human pregnancy hormones. Frogs have complex life cycles that involve both aquatic and terrestrial stages. This dual life helps them exploit different habitats. Tadpoles are herbivorous, feeding mainly on algae and plant matter. As they grow, their diet shifts toward carnivory. Some tadpoles eat detritus or small invertebrates. A few species have cannibalistic tadpoles. Tadpoles breathe through gills before developing lungs. During metamorphosis, tadpoles lose their tails. The tail is reabsorbed and used as energy. Metamorphosis is triggered by hormones such as thyroxine. The process usually takes several weeks to months. Temperature and food availability can affect development time. Some frogs breed in temporary pools formed after rain. Desert frogs can time their reproduction with rare rainfall events. Certain frog eggs can survive temporary drying by entering dormancy. Frogs' reproductive success depends heavily on moisture levels. Male frogs may develop pads on their thumbs to help grip females. This grasping position is called amplexus. In amplexus, males fertilize eggs as the female lays them. Some species show internal fertilization instead. Female frogs can lay anywhere from a few dozen to thousands of eggs. Tropical frogs often lay smaller clutches, but guard them carefully. Frogs can show parental care, which is rare among amphibians. The strawberry-poisoned dart frog guards and feeds its tadpoles. It places tadpoles in individual pools in bromeliad plants. The mother returns to feed them unfertilized eggs. Male frogs are usually smaller than females. Size dimorphism helps females carry more eggs. Frogs' skin coloration is often linked to their environment. Brown and green frogs blend with leaves and mud. Brightly colored frogs usually signal toxicity, aposematism. Some species flash bright colors only when threatened. This sudden display can startle predators. Frogs' skin also helps regulate temperature. Evaporating moisture helps cool them down. When overheated, frogs may move into shade or water. Frogs use a variety of habitats: rainforests, deserts, mountains, and tundra. Some frogs live high in the canopy of tropical trees. Others inhabit underground burrows. Frogs in deserts often burrow deeply to escape heat. Some frogs can form a waterproof cocoon to survive droughts. Australian water-holding frogs can store water in their bodies. Indigenous people once used these frogs as emergency water sources. Frogs are important in nutrient cycling within ecosystems. They transfer energy from insects to higher predators. Frogs contribute to decomposition through their waste. Many frogs have specialized diets depending on their habitat. Aquatic frogs eat insects, crustaceans, and worms. Tree frogs mainly feed on flying insects. Large frogs may eat snakes, fish, and small mammals. The African bullfrog can eat animals nearly its own size. Frogs have sensitive taste and smell organs to detect prey. They detect vibrations in the water through their skin. Frogs' inner ears are adapted to both air and water sounds. Frogs can distinguish the calls of their own species. Male frogs compete vocally to attract females. Louder or longer croaks often win over rivals. Some frogs can inflate vocal sacs to amplify sound. Vocal sacs can act as resonating chambers. The number and position of vocal sacs vary by species. Tree frogs often have one large central vocal sac. Ground frogs may have two smaller lateral sacs. Frogs can detect vibrations through the ground with their limbs. Frogs use body postures to communicate dominance or submission. Some frogs have territorial calls distinct from mating calls. In certain species, males guard specific calling spots. Female frogs can produce response calls in some species. Some species use quiet release calls when clasped by the wrong male. Frogs' vision is adapted for detecting motion rather than detail. Their eyes are more sensitive to movement than to still objects. Frogs' retinas contain both rods and cones for day and night vision. Frogs can detect ultraviolet light. This helps them navigate in dim conditions. Frogs' eyes come in many colors: gold, red, brown, and even blue. Eye color may help camouflage or signal mating readiness. Frogs can close their eyes while swallowing to push food down their throats. Frogs' eyes are positioned on top of their heads to help them see while mostly submerged. This eye placement lets them watch for predators while staying hidden. Some frogs can rotate their eyes downward to help push food into their throat. Frogs' eyelids keep their eyes moist on land. They also have a transparent membrane called the nictitating membrane. This membrane protects the eyes while allowing vision underwater. Frogs' sense of smell helps them find food and mates. Their nostrils, nares, are located on top of their snouts. Frogs can close their nostrils underwater to prevent flooding. Some species use scent glands for communication. Frogs have a well-developed sense of touch. Their skin is sensitive to pressure and temperature changes. Frogs can sense vibrations from predators or prey nearby. They use their lateral line system as tadpoles to detect water movement. This lateral line disappears when they mature into adults. Frogs' ears are visible as circular discs called tympana. The size of a frog's tympanum often indicates its sex and species. Males usually have larger tympana relative to their eyes. Frogs detect both airborne and underwater sounds. Their middle ear bones transmit sound vibrations to the inner ear. Frogs' inner ears help them balance as well as hear. Frogs rely on multiple senses to avoid predators. Common predators include snakes, birds, fish, and mammals. Some insects and spiders even prey on small frogs. Frogs defend themselves with camouflage, toxins, or quick jumps. Some play dead to trick predators. Certain frogs puff up their bodies to appear larger. Others secrete sticky or foul-tasting substances from their skin. Bright colors often serve as warnings to potential predators. Some frogs scream or release distress calls when attacked. Frogs can regrow minor injuries such as skin wounds. However, they cannot regrow limbs like some salamanders. Frogs are sensitive to changes in light, temperature, and humidity. They often hide under leaves, logs, or mud to regulate temperature. In very cold weather, some frogs freeze solid without dying. The wood frog produces glucose that acts as antifreeze in its cells. When spring arrives, it thaws and resumes activity. Frogs in tropical areas are active year-round. In deserts, frogs may remain dormant for months or years. Some frogs emerge only after heavy rainfalls. Many frogs return to the same pond each year to breed. This behavior is called site fidelity. Frogs often navigate using memory, sounds, or the Earth's magnetic field. Some frogs lay eggs in foam nests for protection. Foam nests float on water or cling to vegetation. Frogs may use leaf cups, bromeliads, or puddles as nurseries. Tropical frogs show remarkable variety in breeding behavior. Some species develop directly from egg to froglet, skipping the tadpole stage. These are called direct developers. Direct development is common in moist tropical forests. Some species, like the marsupial frog, carry eggs in a dorsal pouch. Male frogs often call from specific locations to attract mates. A chorus of frogs can contain dozens of calling males. Each male calls to advertise his presence and territory. Female frogs locate mates by following the sound. Croaking is produced by forcing air over vocal cords in the larynx. The air is then pushed into vocal sacs, amplifying the sound. Some frog calls can be heard over a kilometer away. Frogs may stop calling when predators approach. Different calls serve different purposes: mating, warning, or territory defense. Frogs are important subjects in biological and environmental research. Their permeable skin makes them good indicators of environmental toxins. Scientists study frogs to monitor climate and pollution effects. Frogs are also used in genetics and developmental biology. The frog Xenopus laevis was key to early cell biology discoveries. Frog hearts are used to study basic vertebrate physiology. Frogs have contributed to understanding muscle and nerve function. In education, frogs have been dissected for anatomy lessons. Many schools now use digital dissections to avoid harming animals. Frogs' conservation is a global scientific priority. Habitat destruction is the biggest threat to frogs. Deforestation removes critical breeding and feeding areas. Pollution contaminates their water sources. Pesticides can cause deformities or death in frog populations. Climate change alters rainfall patterns essential for breeding. Invasive species like bullfrogs threaten native frogs worldwide. Bullfrogs eat smaller frogs and spread diseases. Frog populations are declining faster than most vertebrates. Conservation programs protect breeding sites and restore habitats. Some zoos and labs run captive breeding projects for endangered frogs. Reintroducing frogs into the wild helps rebuild populations. The Panamanian golden frog is extinct in the wild, but bred in captivity. Conservationists release frogs back into restored environments. Education helps raise awareness of frog protection. Frogs are often featured in environmental campaigns. World Frog Day is celebrated on March 20th each year. This day promotes global awareness of amphibian conservation. Frogs also play roles in cultural symbolism. Many cultures view frogs as symbols of fertility and renewal. In ancient Egypt, the frog goddess Heket represented birth and life. In Chinese culture, frogs are symbols of good fortune. In some Native American legends, frogs control rain. In Japan, frogs symbolize safe travels and good luck. Frogs have appeared in art, folklore, and mythology for centuries. Fairy tales often depict frogs turning into princes. Frogs are featured in children's literature and cartoons. The famous Kermit the Frog popularized frog imagery worldwide. Frogs' distinctive croaks are often used in sound effects. Their calls are important indicators in nature soundscapes. Frogs inspire scientific curiosity and cultural appreciation across the globe. Frogs' body structures are adapted for efficient jumping. Their long hind limbs act like springs for propulsion. Strong muscles in the thighs power their jumps. The ankle bones are elongated for additional leverage. Frogs land on their front legs to absorb impact. Aquatic frogs have webbed feet that aid swimming. Tree frogs have adhesive toe pads for climbing. The toe pads secrete a sticky mucus to grip surfaces. Desert frogs often have spade-like feet for digging. Burrowing frogs use their hind legs to dig backward into soil. Some frogs have fringed toes that help them glide. The Wallace's flying frog can leap from tree to tree using webbed feet as parachutes. Frogs vary widely in size across species. The smallest frog, Pediphrine amoensis, fits on a coin. The largest frog, Conraua goliath, can weigh over 3 kilograms. Frogs come in diverse colors: green, brown, red, blue, even purple. Coloration depends on pigment cells called chromatophores. Chromatophores contain different pigments layered in the skin. Melanophores control dark pigments, aiding camouflage. Iridophores reflect light to create iridescent or metallic effects. Xanthophores produce yellow and red tones. The combination of these layers creates diverse frog coloration. Some frogs can change their color slightly depending on temperature or mood. Color change can help with thermoregulation or camouflage. Frogs' moist skin helps them breathe through cutaneous respiration. Skin must stay moist for oxygen absorption to work efficiently. Frogs often stay near water to maintain moisture levels. When dehydrated, frogs become sluggish and vulnerable. Frogs can absorb water directly through a special patch on their abdomen. This drinking patch allows them to rehydrate without drinking. Frogs excrete waste through kidneys, similar to other vertebrates. They excrete ammonia or urea, depending on water availability. In dry environments, frogs produce more concentrated waste to conserve water. Frogs have a cloaca, a single opening for excretion and reproduction. Tadpoles have gills, a lateral line, and a tail fin for swimming. Tadpoles feed continuously to fuel rapid growth. As metamorphosis begins, legs emerge first. Then the tadpole's tail shortens as lungs develop. The digestive system changes from herbivorous to carnivorous. Metamorphosis is one of the most dramatic changes in the animal kingdom. Frogs have a 3-chambered heart that pumps both oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. This heart structure is efficient for amphibians' dual life. Frogs' lungs are relatively small but supported by cutaneous respiration. They use buccal pumping, moving the mouth floor to draw in air. Frogs can hold their breath for long periods underwater. Frog's skin is full of specialized glands for protection and moisture. Some glands secrete toxins to defend against predators. Toxin strength varies from mild irritation to lethal potency. The poison dart frogs produce some of the most powerful natural toxins. Their toxicity comes from alkaloid compounds derived from their diet. Captive dart frogs lose toxicity without access to toxic prey. Frogs' toxins are studied for potential medical uses. Some frog compounds have antimicrobial or pain relief properties. Scientists are researching frog skin peptides for antibiotic development. Frogs also inspire biomimetic materials like water-repellent surfaces. Their sticky tongues inspire robotics and prosthetic design. Frogs are vital to food webs worldwide. Without frogs, insect populations could explode. Frogs' decline can lead to ecological imbalances. Frogs also serve as prey for fish, birds, snakes, and mammals. Their eggs and tadpoles are important food for aquatic species. Frogs help recycle nutrients through predation and decomposition. Frogs are also used as environmental indicators in conservation studies. Amphibian population monitoring is crucial for ecosystem management. Frogs' presence often indicates a healthy aquatic ecosystem. Their absence may signal pollution or habitat loss. Scientists use frog calls to track population health remotely. Automated audio systems can identify species by their croaks. Frogs. Global decline is one of the most alarming biodiversity crises. Nearly 1/3 of all species are threatened with extinction. Habitat destruction, pollution, disease, and climate change are main causes. The chytrid fungus has devastated many frog populations. This fungal disease thickens skin, preventing respiration and hydration. Some species have gone extinct due to chytridiomycosis. Conservationists work to breed resistant populations. Global organizations like Amphibian Arc help protect endangered frogs. Protected wetlands and forest reserves support frog survival. Reforestation helps restore lost frog habitats. Reducing pesticide use protects frog populations. Frogs benefit from clean water initiatives worldwide. Citizen science projects track frog calls and sightings. Apps and community programs involve people in amphibian conservation. Frogs' reproductive cycles are often seasonal. In temperate zones, frogs breed in spring after hibernation. In tropical regions, breeding aligns with rainy seasons. Frogs' egg masses provide food and shelter for other organisms. Predators often eat frog eggs and tadpoles, keeping populations in check. Some frogs lay eggs on leaves above ponds. Tadpoles drop into water once hatched. In some species, parents transport tadpoles to safe pools. Frogs' parental care is rare but highly specialized where it exists. Some males guard eggs from drying or predation. Certain frogs incubate eggs in their mouths or stomachs. The gastric brooding frog carried young in its stomach until metamorphosis. Unfortunately, this species went extinct in the 1980s. Frogs' life cycles can teach lessons about environmental adaptation. Their dual habitat use shows evolutionary success in diverse conditions. Frogs' sensitivity makes them early warning systems for environmental threats. They are often called canaries of the wetlands. Protecting frogs helps maintain biodiversity for the entire planet. Frogs exhibit an incredible variety of reproductive strategies. Some species lay eggs in streams, others in trees, and some in underground burrows. In tropical rainforests, many frogs use tree holes filled with rainwater as nurseries. Frogs that breed in small water bodies often show stronger parental care. Some species lay eggs in foam nests to protect them from drying out. The foam is created by the parents beating secretions into bubbles with their legs. Frogs' eggs are highly vulnerable to temperature, pollution, and UV radiation. The jelly coating of frog eggs helps protect against dehydration and microbes. Tadpoles are social and sometimes form large groups called schools. Schooling helps protect them from predators. Some tadpoles communicate through chemical signals. Tadpoles can recognize siblings and avoid eating them in some species. Certain tadpoles produce toxins to deter predators. Tadpole diets vary widely. Some graze on algae, others eat detritus or carrion. Some South American tadpoles cling to rocks in fast streams using suction mouthparts. In temporary ponds, tadpoles develop rapidly to metamorphose before the water dries. The speed of metamorphosis can change with temperature and food supply. When conditions are poor, some tadpoles delay transformation. Frogs are capable of estivation, a dormancy during hot or dry periods. Estivating frogs slow their metabolism dramatically. In cold climates, frogs hibernate to survive freezing temperatures. Aquatic species often bury themselves in pond mud. Terrestrial frogs find shelter under logs, rocks, or leaf litter. Frogs' ability to survive freezing makes them unique among vertebrates. The wood frog's tissues contain cryoprotectants that prevent cell damage. Even its heart stops temporarily during freezing. Once thawed, Normal bodily functions resume within hours. This adaptation has inspired research into organ preservation for humans. Frogs' behavior varies greatly between species. Some are solitary, except during breeding. Others form loose groups in favorable habitats. Many frogs are territorial, defending calling or feeding areas. Males may wrestle or push each other to claim territory. Frogs use both vocal and visual signals to settle disputes. Some frogs inflate their bodies to appear more intimidating. Others show specific postures to warn rivals. Frog communication is complex and essential for survival. Calls can identify species, sex, size, and fitness. Each frog call has a characteristic frequency and rhythm. Some frogs produce trill-like calls, others short chirps or deep croaks. Tropical frogs often call continuously during rainy nights. Frogs can coordinate calling to form choruses. Chorusing helps attract females and confuses predators. Some species alternate calls to avoid overlap. Male frogs can change call pitch depending on their energy level. Female frogs often prefer lower-pitched calls, signaling larger mates. Frogs' vocal sacs vary in shape, round, oval, or paired. The air sacs act as resonators to project sound farther. Some tree frogs have translucent vocal sacs visible when inflated. Frogs can produce sound even underwater in certain species. Frogs' lungs are elastic and capable of quick inflation and deflation. Frogs breathe rhythmically, alternating between lung and skin respiration. Their respiration rate changes with temperature and activity. Frogs' metabolic rates are slower than mammals. Being ectothermic, frogs depend on external heat for energy regulation. Frogs bask in the sun to warm up and seek shade to cool down. They adjust body position to absorb or avoid heat efficiently. Some frogs have adapted to extremely cold mountain environments. The Andean water frog lives at elevations above 4,000 meters. It survives cold water temperatures through slow metabolism. Frogs have adapted to deserts, forests, grasslands, and even Arctic zones. Desert frogs survive droughts by burrowing deep into soil. Some form cocoons by shedding multiple skin layers. They emerge only when rain returns. Frogs' diet varies with habitat, but primarily consists of insects. They are opportunistic feeders and will eat almost any moving prey they can swallow. Some frogs have been observed eating small snakes and bats. Frogs capture prey using a lightning-fast tongue flick. Their tongues are attached at the front of the mouth rather than the back. This gives them greater range and flexibility. A frog's tongue is coated with a sticky mucus that traps prey. The tongue's surface has microstructures to enhance adhesion. When retracted, the tongue folds back like an elastic band. Frogs' feeding strikes are among the fastest movements in the animal kingdom. Frogs swallow by blinking and pushing their eyes downward. Their eyeballs press on the roof of their mouths to help move food down. Frogs' digestive systems are simple and efficient. Their stomachs use strong acids to dissolve tough prey parts. Frogs' intestines extract nutrients quickly to support active metabolisms. Frogs can store fat in their bodies for energy during hibernation. Frogs excrete nitrogen waste mainly as urea in water-rich environments. In dry environments, they conserve water by excreting uric acid. Frogs have a cloaca that serves for excretion, reproduction, and egg-laying. The cloacal opening is located at the base of the tailbone. Frogs' circulatory system supports both aquatic and terrestrial living. Their three-chambered heart separates oxygenated and deoxygenated blood efficiently. Blood flow changes between lung and skin circulation as needed. Frogs' red blood cells are larger than those of mammals. These cells carry oxygen efficiently during low oxygen conditions. Frogs' brains are small but well developed for sensory processing. They have strong visual and auditory centers. Frogs' spinal cords coordinate powerful jumping movements. Their reflexes are highly developed for quick reactions. Frogs' muscles contain both fast-twitch and slow-twitch fibers. These muscle types allow for explosive jumps and long swims. Frogs' skeletal muscles can store oxygen for endurance. Frogs regulate balance using their inner ear and vision. They have excellent depth perception for hunting. Frogs can judge distance and strike prey with great accuracy. Frogs' physical and behavioral adaptations make them one of the most successful amphibian groups on Earth. Frogs' success as amphibians lies in their adaptability to changing environments. They can live in rainforests, deserts, mountains, and even urban areas. Some frogs have adapted to life in agricultural fields and gardens. Frogs can tolerate moderate levels of human disturbance if water sources remain. However, heavy pollution and habitat loss quickly drive them away. Frogs are highly sensitive to pesticides and herbicides. Chemical runoff from farms contaminates ponds where frogs breed. Some pollutants mimic hormones, disrupting frog development. Pollution can cause deformities like extra legs or missing eyes in frogs. Such deformities reduce survival and reproduction success. Amphibians' permeable skin makes them more vulnerable than most vertebrates. Even low concentrations of chemicals can harm them. Frogs are often used as early indicators of water quality. A sudden frog population decline can warn scientists of ecosystem problems. Climate change poses new challenges for frogs worldwide. Changes in rainfall patterns can affect breeding cycles. Drier climates reduce available habitats for egg laying. Rising temperatures can affect frog behavior and metabolism. Some species breed earlier due to warmer winters. Others experience stress and reduced fertility. Frogs depend on temperature cues for hibernation and reproduction. Climate instability disrupts these cues. Frogs at high altitudes face melting snow and changing stream flows. Lowland frogs risk habitat drying and invasive predators. Invasive fish and bullfrogs often outcompete native frogs. Bullfrogs spread diseases like chytrid fungus to other species. Chytrid fungus thrives in moist environments with stable temperatures. It interferes with frogs' skin respiration and electrolyte balance. Infected frogs often die of cardiac arrest due to disrupted sodium levels. Conservation scientists study how some frogs resist or tolerate the fungus. Captive breeding programs protect vulnerable species from extinction. These programs maintain genetic diversity for reintroduction. DNA banking helps preserve species' genetic information. Conservationists also restore natural wetlands and forest corridors. Protecting riparian zones, areas near water, benefits frog survival. Frogs play a major role in balancing aquatic ecosystems. Tadpoles help control algae growth and recycle nutrients. By grazing on algae, they maintain water clarity. Adult frogs reduce insect populations, controlling pests. A single frog can eat hundreds of insects per night. Frogs indirectly help reduce mosquito-borne diseases. Their role in ecosystems supports both biodiversity and human health. Frogs are also valuable to agriculture as natural pest control agents. Farmers benefit from healthy amphibian populations in their fields. Frogs' calls are an important part of the natural soundscape. Each species contributes to the chorus of wetland life. Some calls signal seasonal changes or upcoming rain. Traditional cultures sometimes interpret frog calls as omens. Many communities see the first frog songs as signs of fertility and renewal. Frogs have influenced music, literature, and poetry worldwide. Ancient Mayan and Aztec art depicted frog deities associated with rain. In Australian Aboriginal mythology, the frog Tiddalik caused a great drought by drinking all the water. When he laughed, he released the water and ended the drought. Frogs have long symbolized life cycles and transformation. In alchemy, frogs represented metamorphosis and rebirth. In modern times, frogs symbolize environmental awareness. Their decline reminds humans of the planet's fragility. Frogs appear on postage stamps, logos, and environmental campaigns. Frogs' vocalizations are studied in bioacoustics. Scientists analyze frog calls to identify species remotely. Acoustic monitoring helps track populations in dense forests. Some research suggests frogs can detect low-frequency vibrations before storms. Their calls may change in response to atmospheric pressure shifts. Frogs' ability to sense environmental changes makes them living sensors. Some frogs produce calls too high or low for humans to hear. Specialized equipment can record and analyze these ultrasonic signals. Frogs' visual displays, such as leg waving or throat inflation, can convey social cues. In noisy environments, visual signaling is more effective than calling. Some frogs flash bright inner thighs to startle predators. This defense is called flash coloration. Frogs may feign injury to lure predators away from eggs. Parental care in frogs can include guarding, carrying, or feeding offspring. Male Darwin's frogs carry tadpoles in their vocal sacs until metamorphosis. The Suriname toad's eggs develop inside pockets on the mother's back. In the gastric brooding frog, the mother swallowed eggs and gave birth through her mouth. Frogs' parental care evolved multiple times independently. These behaviors increase offspring survival in harsh environments. Some frogs have long breeding seasons. Others reproduce only briefly each year. Explosive breeders gather in large numbers for a few days to mate. Continuous breeders reproduce whenever conditions are favorable. Males often call from the same sites year after year. Frogs use auditory memory to locate preferred calling spots. Territorial disputes can be resolved through call competition. Some males alternate calls with rivals in a rhythmic pattern. Frogs can recognize individual neighbors by their calls. This reduces unnecessary aggression between known rivals. Frogs' energy expenditure during calling can be enormous. Males often lose body weight after breeding seasons. Frogs that call more intensely are usually stronger and healthier. Female choice drives sexual selection for call characteristics. In some species, females prefer males with longer calls. In others, rapid or complex calls are favored. Some male frogs use deceptive calls that mimic more desirable species. Females sometimes mistake these calls and approach the wrong male. Frogs' reproduction depends on acoustic precision and timing. Rainfall, humidity, and temperature all influence calling activity. Frogs' calls often intensify right after rain. Some frogs call from underground chambers to amplify sound. Others call while floating on water surfaces to project farther. The diversity of frog communication is among the most remarkable in the animal kingdom. Frogs' ability to produce sound relies on their larynx and vocal cords. The larynx is located in the throat and vibrates when air passes through it. Only male frogs have fully developed vocal sacs in most species. The sacs act as amplifiers, allowing their calls to travel long distances. Some frogs can call so loudly they can be heard over 1 kilometer away. The coqui frog of Puerto Rico is famous for its distinctive coqui call. Each coqui call is unique and serves both mating and territorial purposes. The second note of the call is directed at rival males. Coqui frogs are cultural icons in Puerto Rico. Their calls are celebrated in songs, art, and folklore. Frogs' auditory systems are finely tuned to detect specific frequencies. Each species' hearing is adapted to its own call frequency range. Female frogs use these frequencies to locate mates in noisy habitats. Frogs' ears, tympana, are circular membranes visible on the sides of their heads. The tympanum connects to the middle ear via a small bone called the columella. This structure transmits vibrations to the inner ear. Frogs can hear both in air and underwater. Underwater hearing is aided by vibrations transmitted through the body. Some frogs close their tympana while submerged to avoid damage. Frogs' vision is adapted for detecting movement rather than fine detail. Their large, forward-facing eyes give them a wide field of view. Frogs can see nearly 360 degrees around their bodies. Their eyes are positioned to spot predators and prey simultaneously. Frogs' retinas contain rods and cones for low light and color vision. Many frogs can see ultraviolet light, which helps them during twilight activity. Frogs' eyes shine in the dark when light hits them, a trait called eye shine. This reflection comes from a layer called the tapetum lucidum. Eye shine enhances vision in dim environments like forests and ponds. Frogs' pupils vary by species. Some are round, others horizontal or vertical. Pupil shape helps adapt to specific lighting conditions. Tree frogs often have vertical pupils for night vision. Day-active frogs may have round pupils for bright conditions. Frogs' sense of smell helps them locate mates and food. They have olfactory epithelium in the nasal cavity that detects airborne chemicals. Aquatic frogs use similar receptors to sense chemicals in water. Some species can detect pheromones released by potential mates. Frogs' taste buds are simple, but help them distinguish edible prey. Their tongues can detect saltiness and bitterness. Frogs' sense of touch is sensitive, especially around the mouth and limbs. Touch helps them respond quickly to prey or predators. Frogs' brain-to-body ratio is small, but their reflexes are exceptionally fast. Their spinal cord can initiate reflex jumps without brain involvement. This allows instant escape from threats. Frogs' locomotion depends on limb structure and muscle coordination. Jumping frogs have long hind limbs with strong thigh muscles. Climbing frogs have adhesive toe pads for gripping smooth surfaces. Burrowing. Frogs have short limbs and hardened spades on their feet. Aquatic frogs have large webbed feet for swimming. The diversity of frog limbs reflects their wide ecological range. Frogs' toe pads secrete mucus that forms temporary adhesive bonds. The mucus allows them to stick to leaves without slipping. The pads work even when wet, ideal for rainforest life. Some frogs can climb glass walls in laboratory settings. Tree frogs control adhesion by adjusting pressure on their pads. Desert frogs have rough, sand-resistant skin for burrowing. Their feet help them dig backward into the soil. Burrowing helps conserve moisture during dry seasons. Frogs' skin can also change color to match surroundings. Pigment cells called chromatophores control this color change. Chromatophores expand or contract to reveal different colors. Color changes can be triggered by light, temperature, or mood. Males often brighten in color during mating season. Some frogs become paler to reflect sunlight and stay cool. Frogs' camouflage helps them avoid predators. Many species resemble leaves, bark, or moss. The Vietnamese mossy frog's appearance blends perfectly with wet rocks. The grey tree frog changes from green to grey depending on its background. Brightly coloured frogs often signal toxicity. This warning coloration is called aposematism. Poison dart frogs are classic examples of aposematic species. Their vivid colours deter predators by advertising danger. Some harmless species mimic these colours for protection. This mimicry is known as Batesian mimicry. True poison dart frogs derive toxins from their insect diet. Captive-bred individuals lose their toxicity due to diet change. These toxins target nerve or muscle function in predators. Indigenous tribes used frog toxins on blow darts for hunting. One compound, batrachotoxin, is among the most potent natural poisons known. Even trace amounts can paralyze or kill large animals. Scientists study frog toxins for potential medical uses. Some toxins may lead to new painkillers or heart medicines. Frogs also produce antimicrobial peptides in their skin. These compounds help protect them from infection. Scientists are exploring these peptides for antibiotic development. Frogs' immune systems are highly responsive to environmental threats. Their white blood cells fight bacteria, fungi, and parasites. However, environmental stress can weaken frog immunity. Pollution, disease, and UV radiation can all suppress immune response. Frogs' immune defenses are a key topic in conservation biology. Researchers monitor how stress affects disease outbreaks in populations. Frogs host a variety of parasites, from worms to protozoa. Some parasites alter frog behavior to increase transmission. For example, infected frogs may swim erratically or expose themselves to predators. Parasites can affect growth and reproduction in severe cases. Frogs' ecological roles include supporting parasite and predator networks. Healthy ecosystems rely on these interactions for balance. Frogs' population declines can disrupt entire food webs. Loss of frogs often leads to insect outbreaks and algal overgrowth. Frogs are therefore considered keystone species in many ecosystems. Their conservation is essential not only for biodiversity, but for ecological stability. Frogs' conservation status varies from species to species. According to the IUCN, nearly 1/3 of all amphibians are threatened with extinction. Frogs are disappearing faster than birds or mammals. Habitat loss is the single largest cause of their decline. Urbanization destroys wetlands and forests frogs depend on. Deforestation removes breeding grounds and feeding areas. Road construction isolates frog populations. Many frogs die during road crossings, especially during migration to breeding ponds. Conservationists build frog tunnels under roads to prevent such deaths. These tunnels allow safe passage between wetlands. Pollution from cars and industry contaminates breeding sites. Even small oil spills can kill tadpoles and eggs. Fertilizer. Runoff leads to algal blooms that suffocate frog habitats. Frogs are also threatened by introduced predators such as fish, rats, and cats. Invasive species often eat frog eggs and tadpoles. Some invasive frogs outcompete native ones for food and space. The cane toad, introduced in Australia, has devastated local wildlife. Native animals that try to eat cane toads are poisoned. Efforts to control cane toads include traps, barriers, and population management. Disease remains one of the most serious threats to frogs. Chytridiomycosis, caused by a fungal pathogen, has wiped out many species. The fungus attacks keratin in frogs' skin, disrupting respiration. It spreads through water and infected individuals. Some frogs carry the fungus without showing symptoms, spreading it further. Researchers study how environmental factors affect disease transmission. Captive breeding programs often screen frogs for chytrid before release. Scientists have discovered probiotics that help frogs resist the fungus. Other diseases, such as ranavirus, also threaten amphibians. Ranavirus causes internal bleeding and organ failure in tadpoles. Contaminated water or animal transport can spread it quickly. Frogs' decline affects many other species in the food chain. Birds, snakes, and fish that rely on frogs for food suffer when populations drop. Frogs' disappearance can also alter plant communities through insect overgrowth. Protecting frogs benefits entire ecosystems. Conservation efforts often involve local communities. Environmental education teaches people the importance of wetlands. Schools and nature groups run Save the Frogs programs. Citizen scientists help monitor frog populations by recording calls. Smartphone apps now allow users to upload frog call data. This helps researchers track species distributions worldwide. Governments protect frog habitats through wetland conservation laws. National parks and reserves safeguard many rare frog species. Reforestation projects restore natural breeding grounds. Scientists also design artificial ponds for endangered frogs. These ponds mimic natural conditions for safe breeding. Climate-controlled facilities maintain captive populations. These ARC programs prevent total extinction of certain species. Some species have already been reintroduced successfully into the wild. Ongoing monitoring ensures released frogs adapt and survive. Frogs' adaptability gives hope for future recovery. Biologists use genetic tools to study frog evolution. DNA sequencing reveals how frogs have diversified over millions of years. Frogs first appeared over 200 million years ago during the Triassic period. They survived multiple mass extinctions that wiped out many other animals. Modern frogs belong to the order Anura, meaning without tail. There are over 7,000 known frog species today. New species are discovered every year, especially in tropical regions. Many newly discovered frogs are tiny, some smaller than a fingernail. The smallest known frog, Pedophryn amoensis, measures only 7.7 mm long. The largest frog, the Goliath frog, Conroa goliath, can reach 32 centimeters. Goliath frogs can weigh over 3 kilograms. Despite their size, they are gentle and feed mostly on insects and crustaceans. They build nests along fast-flowing rivers in Cameroon and Equatorial Guinea. Many frogs exhibit sexual dimorphism. Males and females differ in size or color. In most species, females are larger because they carry eggs. Males may develop nuptial pads on their thumbs for gripping during mating. Some species show striking color changes during breeding. Male African reed frogs turn bright yellow when calling for mates. Frogs' breeding strategies vary widely across climates. Tropical frogs may breed year-round due to consistent rainfall. Temperate frogs synchronize breeding with spring thaw. In deserts, breeding occurs rapidly after rainstorms. Frogs' eggs often develop faster in warmer water. However, extreme heat can kill embryos. Frogs carefully choose shaded or shallow spots for egg laying. Some frogs guard their eggs until hatching. Males of the midwife toad carry eggs wrapped around their legs. They keep them moist until ready to hatch. Parental care is more common in species with small clutches. In large clutch species, parental care is often minimal. Frogs' reproduction depends on water quality and temperature stability. Acidic or polluted water reduces egg survival rates. Some frogs can breed in ephemeral puddles that last only a few days. Rapid development ensures survival in temporary habitats. Frogs' metamorphosis represents one of nature's most dramatic life changes. Tadpoles transform into froglets within weeks or months. The process is controlled by hormones like thyroxine. As legs develop, the tail gradually shrinks and is reabsorbed. Lungs replace gills, and the digestive system changes for carnivory. Frogs often leave the water soon after metamorphosis. Juvenile frogs are vulnerable to dehydration and predators. Many do not survive their first few weeks on land. Survivors grow rapidly and reach sexual maturity in 1 to 3 years. Some tropical frogs mature faster due to stable climates. Frogs' lifespan varies widely, from a few years to over 20. The African bullfrog can live up to 45 years in captivity. Larger species tend to live longer than smaller ones. Captive frogs generally live longer due to steady conditions and lack of predators. In the wild, survival depends on rainfall, temperature, and habitat quality. Frogs' longevity and resilience highlight their evolutionary success across time. Frogs' evolutionary lineage dates back over 250 million years. Fossils show early frogs were already adapted for jumping. The oldest known frog fossil, Procellirus bitis, lived about 190 million years ago. Early frogs had longer tails than modern ones. Over time, tails disappeared as frogs evolved better jumping muscles. Frogs' closest relatives are salamanders and caecilians. Together, they form the class Amphibia. Frogs diverged from salamanders in the early Jurassic period. Their evolution was driven by adaptation to both land and water. Frogs' body design, short body, long legs, is highly efficient for leaping. The leg bones act like springs to store and release energy. Jumping evolved as a way to escape predators quickly. Frogs' streamlined shape also helps them swim efficiently. Their webbed feet act as paddles underwater. Some species can leap over 20 times their body length. The South African sharp-nosed frog holds the record for longest frog jump. Frogs' muscles contract faster than nearly any other vertebrate. Specialized tendons release energy explosively during takeoff. Frogs' skeletal structure supports shock absorption upon landing. Their pectoral girdle spreads impact forces to prevent injury. Frogs' locomotion types include jumping, climbing, swimming, and burrowing. The combination of muscle power and flexibility allows them to adapt to diverse terrains. Frogs' coordination is largely controlled by their cerebellum. Their inner ear also helps them maintain balance during jumps. Frogs' unique body plan has remained largely unchanged for millions of years. Their efficiency makes them one of nature's most successful designs. Frogs' coloration evolved to serve multiple purposes: camouflage, warning, and signaling. In tropical regions, color diversity is especially high. Some frogs can even fluoresce under ultraviolet light. Scientists discovered that fluorescence may help communication at night. Frogs' skin texture varies: smooth, warty, or granular, depending on habitat. Smooth-skinned frogs are usually aquatic or arboreal. Warty skin often belongs to terrestrial frogs that retain moisture better. Some desert frogs have waxy skin that reduces water loss. Frogs' skin glands secrete mucus to stay moist. Other glands produce toxins or lubricants. Frogs shed their skin regularly in a process called ecdysis. They often eat the old skin immediately for nutrients. The process takes only a few minutes and is rarely seen by humans. Frogs' eyes roll backward during skin swallowing to help push it down. Frogs' heart rate and breathing slow dramatically during rest. Their metabolism can drop by 90% during hibernation or estivation. Frogs can survive months without food during these dormant states. In temperate climates, frogs overwinter in mud, under leaves, or underwater. Some can even survive partial freezing and thawing multiple times. During hibernation, frogs rely on stored glycogen and fats. The liver plays a key role in maintaining energy balance. As ectotherms, frogs' body temperature matches their environment. They become more active in warm, moist conditions. Frogs' behavioral thermoregulation includes basking and seeking shade. Some species climb vegetation to avoid overheating near ground level. Frogs' evaporative cooling through skin keeps them from overheating. Frogs' reproduction is strongly tied to temperature and rainfall. Mating often occurs during or immediately after heavy rain. Some frogs time their breeding with moon phases for optimal light and tides. Frogs' breeding choruses can attract predators as well as mates. Many frogs stop calling instantly when danger approaches. Some species use satellite behavior. Silent males intercept females heading toward calling males. This alternative strategy reduces energy use and predation risk. Frogs' mating embrace, called amplexus, ensures external fertilization success. Amplexus can last from minutes to several days depending on species. Some frogs mate underwater, others on land or vegetation. Frogs' eggs are coated in gelatinous layers that protect against predators and drying. The outermost layer may contain chemicals deterring insects or fish. Frogs' eggs can absorb water to expand and stay hydrated. In high altitudes, eggs develop slowly due to lower temperatures. Parental care has evolved independently in many frog lineages. Male frogs often guard eggs to prevent fungal infection. Some parents carry tadpoles on their backs to safe waters. Others transport them in their mouths or stomachs. Such care increases offspring survival rates significantly. Frogs' development from egg to adult illustrates vertebrate metamorphosis. Hormonal regulation ensures precise timing of limb and organ formation. Tadpoles' diet shifts from plant-based to carnivorous as they grow. Tadpoles' tails contain energy reserves used during metamorphosis. The process is one of the most energy-intensive periods in a frog's life. Environmental stress can slow or accelerate metamorphosis. Tadpoles exposed to predators metamorphose faster to escape danger. Frogs' metamorphosis fascinates biologists studying developmental plasticity. Scientists use frogs as model organisms for embryology research. Xenopus laevis, the African clawed frog, is widely used in laboratories. Its large eggs and external development make it ideal for study. Xenopus was even used in early pregnancy tests in the mid-1900s. Injecting urine from pregnant women caused the frog to ovulate. This test helped pave the way for modern hormone detection methods. Frogs' regenerative abilities are a focus of biomedical research. Tadpoles can regrow parts of tails or limbs after injury. Scientists hope to unlock similar mechanisms for human healing. Frogs' immune systems are also studied for insights into disease resistance. Amphibian skin peptides inspire new types of antibiotics. Some peptides can kill antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Frog skin chemicals may also have antiviral and anti-cancer properties. Research on frogs contributes to drug discovery and biotechnology. Frogs have been used in genetics, ecology, and physiology experiments. Ethical standards now protect frogs in scientific research. Field researchers follow strict guidelines for humane capture and release. Conservation biologists use non-invasive sampling like swabs or recordings. Modern science continues to uncover frogs' roles in ecology and medicine. Frogs remain one of the most studied groups in vertebrate biology. Their combination of ancient origins and modern adaptability makes them vital to understanding life on Earth. Frogs' global distribution spans every continent except Antarctica. Tropical regions host the highest diversity of frog species. Central and South America have thousands of unique frog species. Africa, Asia, and Australia also host many endemic frogs. Europe has fewer species, mostly in southern regions. North America's frogs are concentrated in wetlands and forests. Frogs inhabit deserts, mountains, grasslands, forests, and urban areas. Some species are highly specialized, living only in one microhabitat. Habitat specialization can make species more vulnerable to extinction. Frogs' ecological niches include predators, prey, and bioindicators. Frogs help control insect populations, reducing crop damage. They provide food for birds, mammals, snakes, and fish. Frogs' tadpoles recycle nutrients in aquatic ecosystems. The loss of frogs can lead to algal overgrowth and insect outbreaks. Frogs' sensitivity to pollutants makes them important environmental sentinels. Scientists monitor frog health to detect ecosystem stress. Frogs' population declines often precede broader ecological collapse. Frogs have cultural significance worldwide. In China, frogs symbolize prosperity and fertility. In Japan, they symbolize safe travels and good fortune. In ancient Egypt, the frog goddess Heket represented birth and renewal. Frogs appear in mythology, folklore, and fairy tales globally. Fairy tales often depict frogs transforming into princes or magical beings. Frogs feature prominently in children's literature and cartoons. Kermit the Frog popularized frogs in global pop culture. Frogs' croaks have inspired music, poetry, and sound art. Scientists record and analyze frog calls to study biodiversity. Automated acoustic monitoring tracks population trends. Citizen scientists contribute to frog conservation by recording calls. Frogs' reproductive diversity is remarkable. Some species lay hundreds of eggs, others just a few dozen. Egg-laying sites range from ponds and rivers to trees and leaf axils. Some species use foam nests to protect eggs from drying or predators. Tadpoles' diets vary: algae, detritus, insects, or even other tadpoles. Cannibalistic tadpoles exist in some species to reduce competition. Metamorphosis transforms tadpoles into adult frogs in a matter of weeks or months. Hormones regulate metamorphosis, including limb growth and tail resorption. Frogs' lungs replace gills during metamorphosis, enabling terrestrial life. Frogs' digestive systems switch from herbivorous to carnivorous. Some frogs exhibit parental care, carrying eggs or tadpoles to water. Male midwife toads wrap eggs around their legs until hatching. Suriname toads' eggs develop embedded in the mother's back. Gastric brooding frogs incubated eggs in their stomachs, now extinct. Frogs' vocalizations are crucial for mating and territorial defense. Males' calls vary in pitch, duration, and frequency. Females select mates based on call traits and territory quality. Some frogs use visual signals, like flashing limbs or inflating throat sacs. Frogs can synchronize calls to create choruses. Chorusing can confuse predators and attract more females. Frogs' vision, hearing, and touch work together for predator avoidance. Large eyes detect motion. Tympana detect sounds. Skin senses vibrations. Frogs' escape reflexes allow rapid jumps away from threats. Some frogs feign death or inflate their bodies to appear larger. Brightly colored frogs warn predators of toxicity, aposematism. Batesian mimicry occurs when harmless frogs imitate toxic species. Frogs' toxins vary from mild irritants to lethal compounds. Poison dart frogs' toxins are derived from their insect diet. Frog toxins inspire medical research into painkillers and antimicrobials. Frogs' skin peptides show promise against antibiotic-resistant bacteria. Frogs' regenerative abilities help them recover minor injuries. Tadpoles can regrow tails. Some adult frogs can repair skin damage. Frogs' physiology adapts to environmental extremes. Desert frogs burrow and form cocoons to survive dry periods. Wood frogs survive freezing by producing cryoprotectants. Aquatic frogs can hibernate underwater for months. Frogs' metabolism slows dramatically during dormancy. Frogs' circulatory system supports both aquatic and terrestrial life. A 3-chambered heart efficiently separates oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Blood flow can shift between lungs and skin as needed. Frog's skin allows cutaneous respiration to supplement lung function. Frogs' red blood cells are larger than in mammals. Aiding oxygen transport, frogs' muscular and skeletal systems support diverse locomotion. Long legs, webbed feet, and adhesive pads reflect habitat. Adaptations. Frogs' evolution shows remarkable resilience over millions of years. Frogs survived multiple mass extinctions due to adaptability. Frogs' global diversity continues to grow as new species are discovered. Many species are threatened before they are even formally described. Protecting. Frog safeguards ecosystems, biodiversity, and human health. Frogs' educational value is immense, teaching metamorphosis, ecology, and conservation. Frogs inspire curiosity about nature, evolution, and adaptation. Frogs' behaviors demonstrate complex problem-solving and survival. Strategies. Frogs' ecological roles connect land and aquatic ecosystems. Frogs' presence often indicates water and habitat quality. Frogs' disappearance signals environmental stress or degradation. Frogs' vocal choruses enrich wetland soundscapes. Frogs' bright colors, patterns, and shapes contribute to biodiversity. Aesthetics. Frogs' study aids climate change research. Frogs' population shifts reflect shifts in temperature and rainfall patterns. Frogs' resilience inspires scientific innovation. Frogs' conservation encourages global cooperation. Frogs' habitats overlap with human activity, highlighting shared stewardship. Frogs' survival depends on protecting wetlands, forests, and clean water. Community engagement in frog conservation is increasing worldwide. Public awareness campaigns, like World Frog Day, promote protection. Frogs' cultural significance helps garner support for conservation. Frogs' diversity, size, color, behavior makes them fascinating subjects of study. Frogs' ancient lineage provides insight into vertebrate evolution. Frogs' adaptations to extreme environments teach lessons in resilience. Frogs' role in ecosystems underscores their ecological importance. Protecting frogs ensures the continuation of their incredible diversity, ecological contributions, and inspiration for generations to come. Thank you for joining us on this journey through 1000 fun facts about frogs.